Say good.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2.
Yes, on your mobile or cellular device, you can hit repost, as I am, on the platform formerly known as Twitter, as we understand as X. And I think Dujanay's over there hitting the like button and the share button somewhere on Facebook. You can do that too, fellow drag racing fan. Welcome to the Competition Plus Power Hour. I'm Lee Kraft, aka the Monday Morning Racer, and over there is the host of the Not Bland Show, Mr. Dujanay Bland. And we got an interesting one tonight.
We do. Looking forward to talking to Superman, Chris Bostick, and looking forward to talking to Clay. I don't think I've talked to Clay, and it's been a while, man. He's too popular now.
He's too popular now. Yeah, I think the last time I talked to Clay was probably right here on this show, or maybe picking up some interviews for Bobby at Bristol. It's been a while since I chatted with him, but you certainly are right. He is a popular one these days, and I think in a lot of ways he has created the formula that, well, any professional driver really needs to be looking at and seeing how they can implement exactly what he's done, and with him having the performance, the presence along with the performance that he's got.
Yeah, he's really been ahead of the game, and with his channel, how it's grown, and people are really locked into what he's doing, and then some of the special stuff he does, and as far as getting to the racetrack, all the stuff that's going on at the racetrack, a lot of people could learn something from Clay. And I think if people would latch on to what he's doing, you get more people to buy in to NHRA, get more people to care, because now they're seeing their driver kind of like they see their athlete or their favorite musician or whatever that is. They're out here and they're on social media, so it makes them feel a little bit closer and like they know them a little bit. So I think a lot, if not all, could do a better job of that.
It certainly does, Dujanay. We have to remember the stars, in my opinion, truly are not the cars. The stars are the ones driving, working in and around these cars. Yeah. The cars are cool, and the cars certainly are going to attract people, but I don't encounter people who say that I'm a fan of a Nitro Funny car. They say a fan of a particular driver. They say a fan of a particular crew chief. They say a fan of an individual. I think of even my wife. She tuned in, 2 weekends ago to IHRA and watched the stream that was put on. She does not stream drag racing. She does not tune in, except for she has met Krista Baldwin, and she's a Krista Baldwin fan, and she knew Krista Baldwin was going to be racing, and she was pulling for Krista Baldwin.
Yeah.
Why was she doing that? Because she met Krista, and Krista was cool and is cool, and therefore she's got a new fan. So being personable and being you and putting it out there, that is going to attract people. And the people stories, ultimately, I think, over the cars, are going to distinguish any sport.
Yeah. It's the same thing if we look at stick and ball sports, and especially the NFL. I mean, some people are not even fans of teams. They like certain players. I mean, some people are just LeBron fans. They don't care about what team he plays for. They just agreed. He needs to go and get off my team, but they're fans of him. So, it does make a difference. And, sponsorships and getting your sponsors out are great and all that, but you're going to get more business for your sponsors if you make people like want to tune in just to watch you.
Absolutely. And you know what? You can kind of tell those drivers that they come from the old school. They're cut from the previous batch of cloth, if you will. And they're taking care of sponsors and they're taking care of interacting with the fans. And then you can tell the drivers that are there on their own dime. And
Yes.
they don't bother interacting with fans. And they're not concerned about being personal. And they're not concerned about their social media presence and things of that nature. Look, when it comes down to marketing in these days and times, you need to have as many arrows in the quiver as possible so that in a given time you can set your mark, aim, fire, and be true with the portfolio that it is in front of us today. And, you know, Clay Millican, hopefully in a few moments we get to chat with him, he has done that. He put the work in with the YouTube channel. I remember when he started it. And when he first started it, he didn't even have the subscribers, you know, listed out. Be like, oh, it's so little, we don't even want to show that. Well, now it's like 112,000 subscribers on YouTube. So he's got his plaque and doing exceptionally well. And I argue, look, you could say that he hit the magic sauce to some degree, and the algorithm caught this and caught that, and he has rode the wave on YouTube, but that doesn't mean that another driver can't do the same thing.
Right.
But you got to put the work in. I don't see enough drivers doing that. They'll try a video here, they'll try a video there. Did they really do it, or did they hand it off to their social media person on a back burner project and it never really goes nowhere? The 2 videos they uploaded with 20 views, they get frustrated and, oh, I hate this YouTube thing. And they don't bother putting any real work in.
Yeah. That's the key. Even if you have someone that's going to work and do that for you, I think the biggest problem is that it's overrun with the same people. And yes, it's great, you know, got a lot of clients, but if you don't have the personnel to really give the true attention that is needed, other than sending out press releases, it really does the driver a disservice, to be honest. You have some people that are dedicated to be able to do those type of things. I mean, you look at what JFR is able to do. You look at what Tony Stewart Racing's been able to do. You know, all those things, they're putting out unique stuff, and it has to be consistent. You know what I mean? Like, it just can't be here and there, especially when it comes down to this whole way social media and algorithm thing works. You know, you really have to stay after it and have to try different things to get things moving. But putting out content and continue to put out content is where it's at. So it would definitely help if they had more people just dedicated to be able to spend the proper time to basically, you know, make it something that is basically something people want to like digest and watch.
You've got to work it, and you have to continue to put stuff out there. And I mean, I can give you insight on that with Monday Morning Racer. I had several videos get over several million views, really shot the page up from 40,000 followers on Facebook to, at the top, hit 82,000. And then something happened. I kind of slowed down on posting, just got busy, wasn't putting a reel a day out. You know, reel a day keeps the doctor, well, maybe not the doctor, but a reel a day really does make the algorithm happy, it seems like. And growth to 82,000 followers, slow down, hit a period, a roadblock, if you will, and I see my Monday Morning Racer page after apparently what was a Facebook purge get knocked back to 78,000 followers in the span of about 2 weeks. That is a huge drop in a short amount of time. So I was just dumbfounded. I'm like, whoa, what happened? That is a significant drop. And it took a while. of just hovering around 78,000, actually continued to dip just a little bit more and a little bit more and a little bit more, never past the 78,000 number, but getting very close. I said, okay, this is ridiculous. I'm going to get back on track. And I did just that. I got back on track and posted a reel a day, which seems to be with my page, and every page is different, to be the algorithm tripper. And here recently back to 82,000 followers. And it took about a month and a half to get to that point. But it's about being consistent. And guess what? After this past weekend, working Nitro Chaos, at Mocan Dragway, which was a great event, and running the stream. Thank you, Warren Evans. Appreciate your help. But, being busy there, didn't put a reel out a day with other responsibilities. And guess what? That first reel I put out back on my platform, it didn't really go nowhere and didn't get much traction. So consistency is real in this game. And you mentioned John Force Racing. Look, work what works for you. Maybe you're not a Clay Millican, very personable, good storyteller, energetic. You don't have to be. I wouldn't say that Brittany Force is a good storyteller or energetic in that way, not knocking her. But you know what she does notice? She noticed trends. And you'll see her do a lot of trending videos. Like she's got that one where it starts out here and it slows and then swipes. A lot of ladies are doing that with that particular music. Jump in on a trend. Nothing wrong with that, and catch the wave. So figure out what works for you and work it.
Yeah, it's important. And I think people would notice a difference. And might notice a difference at the racetrack as well.
Absolutely. Well, we're still waiting on Clay to pop into the green room. Hopefully we'll have him here soon. We're going to take a break right here on the Competition Plus Power Hour. Dive into the comment section. We'll take your comments when we get back. Hit that like button, hit the share button. Tell a friend we're talking about drag racing, the greatest motorsport on the earth, and a company that plays a role certainly in it and in aviation. That is Weldon High Performance. You want the best pumps, you want the high performance pumps, it's Weldon High Performance. All right. Well, look, bring up Andrew's comment, Jacob. Bring up Andrew's comment right here. Let's bring this up live, and let's everybody see this, because I got to disagree, Andrew. It is not all our boy Darren at JFR. No, Darren's doing a great job, and he has certainly improved his skills and grown the toolbox of what he's capable of doing, and does help out with their social media in so many ways. So yes, he is putting in good work, but let's not give him too much.
We don't want his head to get too big.
Right. Absolutely. Well, Dujane, what do you see in the comment section while we're here waiting? And we'll see if we can get word with Mr. Millican.
Let's see here. I guess there's what's that with Mac 1320 there? The majority of people don't want to see a company of that nature. About something about, I may have missed that one, but oh yes. So I think everybody knows that Summer lost that deal. They weren't having it.
Okay.
And that's, everybody knows. You can call it whatever you want. You can dress it however you want, but everybody knows what OnlyFans is. So, and why people do it, what most of it is. And I think Mac 1320 was talking about as far as alcohol and cannabis companies. Well, they finally got the beer back. Cannabis companies, I don't know how that's going to work. I don't see anything wrong with it, but I don't know. The optics, I don't know how that works, especially in the day and age that we're in. So it would definitely be an untapped market for sponsorship, that's for sure. But looks like we're starting to get some of the beers back, and beer back, and craft beer is where it's at right now. So
yes, it is. It is. We even have Hulk Hogan beer.
Yeah.
Does it help you like rip your shirt off? When you drink it? I don't know. I mean, I haven't tried it as of yet. There was a local canned beer that was Arkansas Razorback themed there at Mocan Dragway. I'm like,
wow,
man, we're getting down to the local scene and having beer in the official beer of the Razorbacks. Basically, it's called Tusk. Imagine
pretty
that.
cool.
Imagine.
Yeah.
Clay, you down there and you ready? You good to go? All right, let's do this. Clay, welcome to the show, man. Good to have you on. We haven't chatted with you in a while. Where are you coming from?
Well, I know I'm a few minutes late because I was in the dunes out in Oregon entertaining some folks, and the old cell signal, not so good out in the desert, or not desert, but the dunes. But let me tell you, it is absolutely beautiful, though. And I've been having a blast stomping on that loud pedal, slinging some sand today.
Oh, man. A sand rail? Was it like a sand rail?
Sand rail, side by side,
That's still fun.
up and down the dunes, out on the Pacific Ocean. It was a good time, that's for sure.
Nice.
Spectacular. Spectacular. There are so many fun sites out there on the West Coast and the Pacific Northwest. I know the first trip I ever made out to Pacific Raceways, going along the Columbia River, and like, this does not look like Washington and Oregon. This and the grassland desert that's out there before you get to the coast. It's some spectacular scenery, and a lot of fun can be had out there.
Yeah.
Oh, no doubt about it. I mean, the dunes here are actually the highest dunes, coastal dunes in North America. I mean, they are massive. And a guy like me, I'm a drag racer because I go somewhere, I stop, and somebody comes and gets me. So there are dangers of getting lost when I go do these kind of adventures, but I made
it. You made it. Well, again, Clay, good to have you. Look, I got to start with this concerning drag racing beyond the dunes. IHRA, where you at, bro?
Well, I tell you, I am certainly watching. I didn't get to watch like hours of it, but I spent a fair amount of time watching the live stream. And I got to say that National Trail Raceway was absolutely beautiful. It looked like everything was manicured and painted nice, and it all looked good. And, once they kind of got rolling, I mean, they had everything you can imagine happen, from unfortunately some crashes to, rain, cars in the sand trap. They kind of covered all the bases there, some of it unwanted, but the racing looked pretty dang good once they got rolling. I'll tell you that.
What are your favorite moments? Everything is favorite. I mean, for me, like Clay Millican was my guy in IHRA. We had the Warner everything. What's one of your favorite moments of your IHRA career?
Well, I mean, the first thing that pops to mind, obviously, is my first Top Fuel win. That was incredible. We raced Shirley Muldowney in the final at Grand Bend, Ontario, and she couldn't back up. And I'm on the radio asking Mike Klober, my crew chief, what do I do? What do I do? No answer. They finally got her pushed back. We waited. And she even made me stage first after I waited on her. Luckily the wind light turned on, and, that's a big memory. That first win is, those are the ones that are really hard to beat, those first wins. But man, I've got so many wonderful memories. I mean, even before Top Fuel, I got my first ever IHRA national event, my first ever national event win at Darlington. And that was the first time a young man named Peter Lehman had ever been to a drag race. And that was really the beginning of my journey to being a full-time Top Fuel guide. Now, 27 years later,
Wow.
so that there's so much IHRA intertwined with my career and what I've done. I'm very, very proud of it. 51 top fuel wins, that's a lot, and I'm very, very proud of each and every one of them. And if you start bringing them up, I can kind of start recalling some of the stories. I mean, I think about going to Rochester, New York before they had, really, really done a lot with like belly pans and puke tanks and that sort of thing. And we won the race and actually left there making no points. And that is kind of where the giant puke tank that you see today come from, because we're like, we can never let this happen again, where we win a race and we didn't really make any points because of the oil down penalties.
Well, Clay, definitely great times back there in the IHRA. You're having some good times right now in NHRA drag racing. Clue us in on the time, though, that your car owner sells the NASCAR side, and then I'm sure you started getting a lot of notifications on the phone of, dude, what about your hot rod? So did you know about it, or was it a shock to you, or was there putting out fires? How was that behind the scenes?
Well, behind the scenes, I mean, obviously I knew what was going on, and naturally I YouTube pretty much everything. So, I sat down with Rick and we talked about it. But the truth is, him selling his 2 NASCAR charters, that's a 5-year program. So it's not like Rick is stopping NASCAR racing at the end of the year. It's going to be a 5-year transition from him being the 100% owner down to a minority owner. But it's a 5-year plan that's going to take place. And to be honest with you, it's not going to do anything but benefit the drag racing program, because what that'll do is allow Rick, as the years go, to spend more and more time with the drag racing program. So to be honest, I'm excited about it, and I think it's going to be nothing but good things coming for the drag race team. Back to the fires, though. Back to the fires. My phone was blowing up. Absolutely, and I didn't answer a whole lot of anything except to actual close friends that had my cell phone number. And so I saved that, so I got the views on YouTube to talk about it.
That was smart. That was smart. I even got asked about it too, and I was like, I don't think it's going to affect anything with the NHRA team. Probably enhance it, if anything. But yeah, it was wild. And it's really cool to have Rick Ware involved with NHRA, and you're going to have a teammate soon. And one of the greats, Tony Schumacher. What's that been like, him having him around and them doing a little testing here and there? What's that been like, man?
Man, I tell you what, I'm excited about it. I really am. I am pumped up to really get that whole program moving and headed in the direction which, we're shooting for the U.S. Nationals. People that have been paying attention have seen that Rob Flynn has now been hanging out a whole lot. Obviously, Rob is going to be the crew chief for Tony. Tony and I are spending a fair amount of time on the phone. And I mean, we're talking everything from what the rig looks like to, what we're going to do to celebrate when we race each other in the final. Who knows how that'll come out, I can tell you over the years, without a doubt, that guy's had my number. But the truth is, he's had everybody's number for a lot of years. I mean, all-time winningest NHRA top fuel driver, and I think it's going to be a lot of fun. I've never had a teammate, so I really don't know what that's going to be like. But I don't see it being an issue. I mean, because truthfully, Rick Ware sat down with me and he said, if you think this is something you don't want to do, we won't do it. But I mean, how could you think adding the all-time winningest NHRA driver to your team being a bad thing? I just don't see it as a bad thing. And I think we'll work together very, very well. I mean, we're certainly 2 different kind of people. We grew up differently. Everything is different, but it's going to be fun to actually get to know Tony more as a person than as a competitor. And I've said this many times, I've never been part of the clique or any of the factory teams. I've always kind of been the outside guy, and that's just how I've always done it. It's how I've stayed out here for so long, because I've just had to do it the way I've done it, and I wouldn't change anything about it. But man, I am really looking forward to working with a guy that's won that many races, that many championships, and he's got a lot of experience that I don't have, and I've got a lot of experience that he don't have. So I think it's going to be a pretty cool combination of, two guys from different sides of the way of getting to a long career in Top Fuel.
Liquidating from one motorsport to aid another motorsport in NASCAR to NHRA drag racing, the addition of a teammate in the great Tony Schumacher, addition to the brain trust with Rob Flynn. I imagine, Clay, that you've got to be excited about what possibly could be shaping up for what could be in the future some of the best times of your career, because I don't think y'all are going to be down on performance if there's some more fun, some more assets, some more knowledge, and some more people knowing what to do on a nitro car.
Oh, I mean, 100%. That's what's going to happen. I mean, one thing that's really cool that we are planning on doing is Jimmo, Nikki, and Rob Flynn are all going to be in one lounge running both of these cars. A little bit different than what most teams do, but that's how Jimmo wanted to do it. I mean, Jimmo is, team manager, and he's in charge of everything drag racing. Jimmo is ultimately the boss of what happens with my race car, and also that's what's going to be happening with Tony's race car. So all three of those guys will be in the lounge together. We got Jesse Snyder as my car chief. We just also hired Troy Fashing, who will be crew chief, car chief on Tony's car. I said crew chief, I meant car chief on Tony's car. So, I mean, we're talking to some guys with a lot of experience, and those guys have all worked together in the past. I mean, this is a very small world that we're in the NHRA Nitro world, actually just the Nitro world period. But all those guys have worked together. That's pretty dang cool. And I'm excited for all of them to be in a room. I have been seeing some of the results of them being in the lounge together the last couple races. And, our cars ran pretty good. We made it to the final at Norwalk, and wasn't nobody going to win that round but Justin Ashley with a 026. But, we ran good this past week. We had a little bit of a glitch in that boost over rev cut the car off in what was a good race with Antron. It was shaping up to be a great race. I mean, if you just look at our numbers, I went 73 at only 293 miles an hour, which tells you that thing was on a rip. So I don't see nothing but performance is improving, especially once everything kind of gets settled. It's a whole lot going on right now when you're adding 2 trucks, trailers, a whole new group of people, and all that takes a little bit to kind of get all sorted out, but I don't think it's going to affect the performance of our car at all currently. And I think it's going to help the performance of the car once everything gets going on Tony's side.
What's it been like for you? This has been a season where every week and even through the weekend, the conditions are never the same. With all this heat, we had a great weather this past weekend, but up to this point, it's been a hodgepodge, and it's a different story every day. What has that been like for you to kind of, have to really think about and adapt to each day in the conditions?
Well, what it is for me is I'm glad I'm not a crew chief. I can put one of these cars together front to rear, but I have no clue how to tune it. I can make it start and run, but don't ask me to tune your race car, because it probably wouldn't be a good idea. That's why we got all those guys up there in that lounge doing it. But boy, you are right. It's been from scorching hot. I mean, immediately, the first thing I think of is Richmond, 140 plus degree racetrack, till, just a couple of days ago right here in Seattle, the thing was ripping fast, all those 340 mile an hour runs we were seeing, all those low ETs. And man, the crew chiefs have definitely been earning their money, because there's been zero consistency. Like I say, it's perfect weather or scorching hot. We've had nothing like gradually building us up to that. It's just been one or the other.
So what are we going to get in Sonoma? I haven't looked. I'm sure you already have and been on the phone. What are we going to get?
I got to be honest, I have not checked the weather at all. I'm hoping that it will be pretty nice, but I can tell you today when I was out in that desert, I mean, you can see I got long sleeves on. I keep saying desert. It was the dunes of the coastal dunes, and it was only like 60 degrees out there today, and that was kind of nice having to wear a hoodie, out there stomping on the loud pedal. But I don't think I'll have a hoodie on in Sonoma, but I'm hoping it's close to what we had in Seattle. And the racetrack in Sonoma is really, really good. The fastest I've ever been is actually on that racetrack, 338 something or another. So the track surface there, when it's right, it's really right. And we have that night run that's always just a barn burner. Lay down and get after it, usually on Friday night there.
Let's see. I'm trying to. Looks like it's for the weekend 73 and 54 that night, and then you're talking about. Well, okay, Friday 70. Oh no, it's 78, 73 on Friday, 74 on Saturday, and 80 degrees on Sunday. 50s at night. Sounds like good weather, and it's AM clouds, PM sun, partly cloudy on Sunday. It looks like it's a partly cloudy day on Friday as well. So should be some great conditions for some fast numbers.
Oh, no doubt about it. I mean, when you're talking, 70s during the days, 50s at night, that Friday night run, like I say, that's going to be one the fans better come out there and don't be surprised at all if you don't see some kind of record set. I mean, when we get those kind of conditions like that, I mean, woo, I'm hoping that we're one of the ones doing it, no doubt about it. I was like a little jealous of Doug Coletta on Sunday. Everybody kept saying, second quickest run ever. And I guess it is because I went 362.8 as well, but he went 341 and mine was at 322. So I'm hoping to sneak back into those kind of numbers. I mean, we have we've got it in the car. Like I say, I've been 62 before. I would like to see a 61. Everybody gets wound up over the speed, and the speed is always what the average person talks about.
Right.
But everybody probably watching this, they know it's that ET that turns on them wind lights. So that's what I get excited about, them ET numbers.
All right. Well, speaking of numbers, a YouTube star, let's transition about that. Like, I remember when you started the channel, like, we weren't even showing the subscriber count, and it slowly ticked up, and here you are, well over 100,000, and it is doing some great things for you. I want to ask in particular, your colleagues, your competitors that are out there on the platform along with you in this motorsport of NHRA drag racing, what do they ask you about it? Because you've put the work in and you've seen the results, and honestly, I think you've done better than any other driver out there and really have shown what is capable. And I hope more begin to do what you've done. What are they asking you about what you have done concerning the tube?
Man, I got to be honest. Other than, man, I hate to sit here and not count somebody in, but I don't know of anybody really doing what I'm doing. I know, Tony Stewart does have a YouTube channel. We know John Force Racing has a YouTube channel. Ida has a YouTube channel. But I don't know. I think because I enjoy doing it, everybody knows I love talking, and all I'm doing is holding my phone and talking to my phone. And, it's no big production. There's nothing fancy about what I'm doing. There's no other people. It's me and a couple of GoPros to film the race car. And it is work. I mean, Donna, she's sitting behind us in the room in here. She'll tell you it's content, but I enjoy it. And as far as the other people, they don't really ask me about it. I think sometimes I probably annoy people pulling my phone out, and it probably makes them not want to talk a whole lot. But I've got some great YouTube friends that have taught me a lot and taught me, just own it. If you're going to pull that phone out and film yourself, don't hide it. Just own it and do it. And, I'm quite sure sooner or later, some of the big teams will jump in with both feet and like really, really get after it and probably bring people in, and have editors and all those sort of things. Mine is raw and real, and it's me. It's what I'm doing. And, right in my opening, just a good old boy who loves burning rubber and driving fast. And you're tuned into the Clay Millican YouTube channel, and you never know what you're going to see, because that's all it is whatever I'm doing. I mean, when you tune in this week, you won't see a lot of it, but you're going to see some coastal dune actions. You're going to see that because it's what I've been doing this week. We share pretty much everything, and I think, and hopefully that's what people like, because it's not a thought out plan. It's no scripted anything. It's just me being me and doing what I do.
I think that's what's critical, is it's authentic, because there is a difference from just, hey, it might just be the quality of a cell phone, but nonetheless, that's real, compared to, hey, quiet on set, camera's about to go hot, and let's film it. So that there is a noticeable difference. You're really using YouTube the way it was intended. It's your television. That's what it was for, to tell your story, how you want to tell it, not always to be this fancy, smanchy production as on TV. So keep up the good work, Clay. It's good to see the ride.
I appreciate it. I do want to say that I had no idea how many great drivers and how many great crew chiefs there are in the comment section. It's incredible how good those people are.
For sure.
If you catch what I'm saying there,
Yes.
I always get tickled. Yeah, I always get tickled. Monday morning racer and Monday morning crew chief. How about that? We get a lot of that.
There's plenty of great interviewers that never hold a mic. There's plenty of great announcers that never get in a booth. Yeah, it is amazing. It is amazing.
It is.
YouTube comment. Wow.
I love them. I love them. I really do. I enjoy, when I'm getting ripped up over something, I'm like, man, you don't know it, but all you're doing is doing me a favor by watching and commenting. That I love them, whether they're good or bad, and hey, long as people are paying attention, that makes me happy, because that's the reason I do it. I enjoy doing it, and I want people to enjoy watching.
Yeah, Sean had his crash this past weekend. I want you to talk about the testament this is to the safety of these cars. I was talking to Ryan a little bit earlier this week, and I'm like, 15 years ago, we might not be saying the same thing about Sean.
Yeah, with all the development of just, it seems like every time we have something bad happen, good things come from it, and we hate that it takes something bad to make it happen. But I mean, let's just go all the way back to Dale Earnhardt Sr. That was kind of the beginning of everyone wearing a Hans device, some sort of head and neck restraint. Let's move right to John Force last year. And this year we've got these incredible head surrounds around the entire roll cage area, and the poured seats. All these things add up when something ugly happens, like we had happen to Sean Reed this past week. And, thank goodness it's no worse than it was. Hate to see anybody have something like that happen. I mean, I was in the water box when that went down, and it was quiet for a long time. And when it stays quiet and those announcers aren't talking, it's very nerve-wracking, because you don't know what's going on down there. But thank goodness, as Sean said, he may be missing a digit, but he'll be back. And that was good news to hear. And, the worst part of it for me is, a spectator getting hurt. When we sign up, when we put our helmet on, we know anything is possible. When we have a spectator come in, that's not what we want to happen, and thank goodness, thank the man upstairs, that lady is okay from that as well. We never, ever need to have a spectator have anything happen to them while watching us, rip down the racetrack, but I'm also very thankful that, Sean is a tough dude, and I can't believe it was not any worse than it was. And it's a pure testament of all the safety stuff that's been done by everybody involved in this industry.
Clay, last question for you. If I recall, the shop is not in the hub. It's not in Brownsburg. It's down there in Mooresville. And your team, along with Doug Foley's return back down there, trying to do the NHRA professional touring elements, not in the hub. What is that like? And the benefits, the cons of it. Like I'm here at McKinney Corp. I think there's Rick Ware parts on the table right now about to go out. So, how's it all work being away from the hub?
Well, it goes right back to I ain't never been part of them factory teams, so I've never been located in Brownsburg. And, so for me, I don't want to say I had reservations, but I didn't know what it was going to be like being in NASCAR country. But I got to say that it is totally been impressive, because if you need something, if you want something made, if you can think of it, it can be done in that area, because there is more race car fabrication, more parts, more everything to do with racing. Now, is it Top Fuel Racing? It is not. But the quality of people that makes all the world go around in NASCAR is all right there. I'll give you a good example. Because I have a 29-inch waist, every year I have to have my seatbelts custom made. It is maybe a quarter mile. I took a set of seatbelts that I had took a silver Sharpie and marked where they needed to be shortened to. Quarter mile away, walked in the door, handed them to them. After lunch, went back, picked them up. That's pretty good service. And that's just one example. I mean, you name it, it's there. Like I say, if you need something CNC'd, you need something digitized, you need it, it's all there. I mean, we think of Brownsburg, but we also know that NASCAR is the 900-pound gorilla, and guess where it's located?
Yeah.
Race City, USA, Mooresville, North Carolina.
Yep, it is. It is. Am I moving there? Heck no, the traffic's way too bad. I'm a Drummond's, Tennessee boy,
Dude.
But the race shop is pretty nice.
Like, 77? Do not get on 77, depending on the time of it. Do not. You will get stuck on a bridge over a lake. Nope.
For hours.
That's crazy.
Yes. Poor city. They need to do something. Well, Clay, man, look, go get one in Sonoma and keep getting more Wallies after that. Thank you for your time. Glad you had fun at the dunes, and enjoy yourself out there on the West Coast.
You bet, man. I'm sorry about being late. Like I say, I couldn't get no signal till I got back here close, but I love being on the show. I appreciate the invite and can't wait for Sonoma. Stomp on that loud pedal. Low ETs is what I'm looking for.
Awesome. Thank you, Clay.
Thanks, Clay.
Folks, Clay Millican, hey, be sure to go subscribe. If you're not, I'm sure everyone in this comment section is already subscribed to his YouTube channel, but it's very simple. It is Clay Millican, or you could do at Clay Millican 25. You'll see him with a white background, blue fire suit, holding the helmet, Parts Plus, and go give him a sub. And by the way, if you're not subscribed to the Competition Plus TV YouTube channel, you need to be subscribed to it as well. A lot of great content on the Competition Plus YouTube channel, such as Bobby Bennett's The Legends series. Such a great series. Everyone raves about it. And also up-to-date news from the events in the world of drag racing, as well as classic content from the NHRA, the IHRA, and beyond. I mean, Bobby even takes a trek every now and then up to Byron Dragway in the wheel standing competition. So all right there on Competition Plus.
Yeah, good stuff. Good stuff.
Well, Dujanay, let's take a break as we continue to wait for our second guest, Chris Bostick. We've got him lined up. Certainly want to talk to him. He had a rough Seattle, to say the least, but those that are on bikes, man, they are troopers for sure. And he's going to continue to slug through. Clay Millican certainly isn't a bracket buster. I'm sure that many people pick him from time to time over the competition. But if you want to bust someone's bracket by you being the smartest picker in filling out those brackets of Bracketology, well, Drag Race Bracket Bonanza is where you can do it with you loving the sport that you do, drag racing.
drag racing fans, check out Drag Race Bracket Bonanza. It's the free, family-friendly fantasy bracket game. Now, after final qualifying at every national event, you can fill out your bracket for all the pro classes.
It's free, easy to click on your picks. If you need some help, just hit the randomizer button to fill in the blanks. It's for fun, stay engaged, and pick your winners today.
How'd your bracket do, Dugenay?
Oh man, it was all right. I picked Sean. That was the one I got right. The rest of it, yeah. Oh, and I got Dallas. So it was all right. I gained 11 points on Dave W. in the Not Bland Show League, but that's about it, man.
I mean, look, right now, if you're not picking a Greg Anderson Dallas Glenn final every time,
yeah,
are you really playing right?
No.
Are you really playing right? Okay, so right.
Yeah.
Give me an idea of what the bracket looked like with Pro Stock Motorcycle, because it got knocked down to an 8-car field because there were only 8 bikes. So how did that work out? How did they compute it?
So they scrapped just like they did for the first round. They scrapped the first round and they only had 2 through beyond. So your whole entire bracket on the first half was blank, all set by. So you got to the second round, and that's where the bracket started. That's where round 1 started. So it was basically second round, semi-final. So it was basically 3 rounds, 8-car field type deal. So yeah, I was wondering how they were going to do that, and I figured that eliminated buys too, instead of going with the normal 16-car field when you only got, or 16 bike field when you only got 8. That was the smart way to do it. That way you eliminate all the buy runs and you get competition all the way through till the end. So yeah, really, really cool stuff how they did that. That was smart play though.
Interesting. Let's talk about car count. And Andrew mentions it. We had another commenter earlier while we had Clay mention some of those issues. Epping and Seattle. Dugenay, I don't know if you've had the pleasure to be at those venues as of yet. I love both of them. They really echo one another. It's very interesting. I have not, drawn a line from Pacific Raceways there in Kent over to Epping and New England Dragway, but I imagine they're almost on the same parallel. I just imagine this. I'm probably way off, but I imagine they're on the same parallel and they're on, the ends of the spectrum, but yet these cousins that are closely related. And to me, they have a special place on the schedule, and they have certainly their place on the schedule, especially I think of New England, rabid fan base for NHRA drag racing.
Yeah.
And I love the location and the track there at Pacific Raceways. And you've got some like Steve Torrance. That's one of his favorite tracks. He was even on this show and has said that before. It reminded him of tracks back home that, you're kind of nestled in the woods and racing, amongst the trees, that type of thing. They're great facilities, but yet right now we've got a problem of teams not circling those events.
Yeah, it was scarce. It's still going to be scarce, especially in Top Fuel. I think it's 11 cars, 11 dragsters this weekend, and then looks like still the same pro stock. You got a full field for funny cars. So bike, I think it's 13 this week, or 12 or 13 this week. So a little bit more, but yeah, I don't know what you have to do. Maybe you incentivize it a little bit somehow, some way to get people to come out there. But it's very clear. I mean, when Steve Johnson doesn't show up, I mean, I don't know what to say. It says a lot though. And he normally does not miss, so I don't know what you got to do to change that. And I know people will say, we're missing a few dragsters as well. I think we'll definitely gain 2. One will be next year in Matty Gordon, but you got to find a way to get them out there because people don't want to spend the travel. I mean, it's really, honestly, it hasn't gotten any cheaper to travel those distances, and some of these teams that do come out are not big budgeted teams, and the travel would be a huge part or a big part of the budget. So they have to make decisions, and I totally get it.
I get it. And, you know, Buddy's in the comment section here. He's got a perfectly good McKinney Corp chassis top fuel dragster that's legal, legit, ready to go. One of the quickest and fastest McKinney Corp cars out there. And like, nobody's written this thing out. Nobody's taking it up the road. I think it also says volumes that Buddy's not running it himself, but he's in Jim Dunn's funny car.
Exactly.
And I can't help but think, you know, okay, we're on the West Coast. Well, you know, Terry Totten's in the central part of the country, but he's Nebraska. Why isn't he running at Seattle? Why isn't he running Sonoma? Greg Carrillo, where is he at? Man, him and Aaron Brooks, they could have that car running and running well and be heartbreakers out there. Haven't seen him in a while. What about Rob Passy? I don't believe he was there at Seattle. So there are some players on the West Coast right now that I haven't seen them, and they haven't come out as much. And I think that just goes to show what a lot of people are talking about amongst drag racing concerning the NHRA overall is just payout treatment.
Yeah.
Why show up? I think it's even more. I think that's bigger than even just costs. Payout treatment.
That's true. But I mean, I can go and race in NHRA, and let's say there's 15 cars. I still make more money missing the show than, than going to NHRA and missing the show. So,
right. Round 1 loss, Joey Haas was 15,000.
Yeah. I'd take that.
And he had to do far less runs to get to that.
True.
And look, I have been on this show and my show Between the Slicks, which has not aired in a very long time, that needs to air very soon. Nonetheless, I have said, look, I think the national event model's broken. It's been broke.
Yeah.
And there needs to be some serious overhauling of what a national event is. And I think we have way too many. You know, the national events used to serve this purpose of everybody coming across the nation and coming together and at a time crowning the champion within this elimination of a national. And now we have 20 of them.
Yeah.
And they're not really serving the nation. Most of them serve regions, actually.
Yeah. Yep. Do you think that the amount of national events is too much? And if it is, what would you cut it to?
I understand from talking to team owners and drivers that they don't want any more than 20, and they would probably want more like 18.
Yeah. That's why I call it 18.
And have it around there. I think that we need to get more creative in scheduling. I think we need to get more creative in rotating the schedule. You know, have some of your events that you always know you're going to go there and be there, such as the U.S. Nationals. But other facilities, rotate through them. And I understand that some tracks are banking on the national events. Granted, I also hear the national events are a big pain to have. So learn to bank on something else and let that float the bill, whatever it might be. But I think the national events could go to many other places and for whatever reason, contractually just locked into where they're at. And, you know, Andrew mentioned specifically the owner there at Pacific Raceways and talking about car counts and, you know, implementing something to the effect of mandatory full fields. I don't know how that would work unless, you know, the NHRA steps up and there is some tow money.
Right.
where teams could, break even on that. And I mean, why not? Let's take out of the cut of some of the executives and what they make, and have a tow money slush fund for some of these smaller teams. Like if you're under a marketing income number, then at certain events you can tap into a tow money fund. I'm just throwing that out there. And there's nothing like that from what I understand, but I'm just throwing that out there. Why not?
Yeah, why not? Because I mean, NHRA is about as bad as the NFL nickel and diamond athletes and teams. So yeah, I don't see why. You got to find some way to get them out there, but I don't think that's not going to be the solution. Because I mean, still, what good is it if I'm going to go out there and be in the negative when I'm done?
Right. There is something there's something to notice, I think, here. NASCAR doesn't race in the Pacific Northwest. Hasn't raced in the Pacific Northwest in a long time outside of NASCAR West.
Yeah.
When, that was around and the local scene. But Grand National, Cup, Xfinity, it hasn't raced out there in a very long time. Trucks used to race out in the Pacific Northwest and Colorado, those type of places. But something NASCAR is searching, but it also knows where it's not popular.
Yeah. And I think that has to be assessed. Yeah, I think that has to be assessed too. I think you have to look at what makes sense. Where are we profitable at? Because you can't always be taking hits, because not only are you taking hits, but the product is taking hits too, because racers are like, nah, I'll see y'all in 3 weeks.
Right. And I think this is something that the NHRA needs to fix it. I don't think this is something the track necessarily needs to put up a bunch more money. I don't think the track needs to handle tow money. I think the NHRA needs to step up in this department, and somebody on the executive side sell a car and donate some tow money. Yeah. I don't know. Give something back.
Yeah, I think it can be done. There's ways.
There is ways.
And so here's the next thing. Let's try not to be banking on one primary sponsor. I thought I saw that Camping World is staying on for a little while longer than we thought.
Yes.
So that's good, but I still think you still need to be adding those type of sponsors. If you had 5 instead of 2 or 3, that extra money could go to something like that. See, now you have, you can increase the purse. I don't think we need to be banking on 1 or 2 primary sponsors. We've already seen this happen before. You blink and all of a sudden things change, whether it's the company, whatever, and then you're scrambling for a primary sponsor. So the more you have, the better off in the health, and from that standpoint, would be a whole lot better. But I also think making adjustments and understanding where you're profitable at and where you're losing. And sometimes you, in this day and age, where we are today, those things need to be looked at heavily, because right now there ain't anything that's going to be costing any cheaper. There ain't nothing going down, and looks of it likely might be, some things may be going up. So you got to be concerned about where your profit margin is, and you can't always be taking losses on these events. That can't be possible, because not only are you losing, but the track can't be winning either. When we're talking about once the national event is gone and the repair and maintenance that needs to be done after these pro stock cars and nitro cars don't hit the track. So who's winning?
I don't disagree with you concerning the marketing partners. NASCAR at this point, they don't have a title sponsor. They're not the Winston Cup anymore. They're not Nextel Cup anymore. They are NASCAR Cup. And then they have a myriad of official this, official that, the official of NASCAR. They've went that route. I think it is smart to have numerous smaller ones, because marketing is just different today than I think it was, 30, 40 years ago. We're talking about, especially with a giant such as RJ Reynolds, when they just had burn money. I mean, they really did.
Yeah.
We'll go with a cigarette theme here. They really did have burn money. I have to agree with Drag Racing Mayhem. He pointed it out on X. He's put it in the comment section here as well, that the way the countdown is structured and how you can get in, shouldn't that make it full fields? Apparently not.
Yeah. So what's the purpose?
What is the purpose?
Because now I don't think there's anyone that's getting in on participation. Well, maybe one.
I think the only one may be Buddy.
Yep.
Yeah.
I think that's it. Outside of that, I think everybody else has missed. So
right, I think because Ida's not going to be in there.
Nope.
I mean, think of even now, Sean's not going to be in there with the incident.
Yep.
You go throw him in, and like right now, it's everyone's going to be in on performance just about, except for Buddy. And has Alexis missed any?
Yeah. Oh, she will. But I think she has.
Okay.
They missed at least one race.
So again, there's not many that's kind of using
Buddy and Dave in funny car.
Okay, Dave Richards. Okay.
Spencer Hyde, they weren't at every one.
Nope. So they'd have to crack in.
Bob will likely be in that category too. I think that's the only funny car is the only one where you'll have that.
Right.
Well, maybe Mason. Well, see, Erica does. I don't know. Well, yeah, okay, maybe a few in Pro Stock too. But I know Top Fuel and Pro Stock Motorcycle, there is no participation. Those are out.
Are we going to have part-timers in the top 10?
No.
No, not at all.
No,
okay.
Not that I can see. No.
I was wondering.
No part-timers.
Okay.
Not at all.
Okay. Overall, one of the biggest problems we got right now, and it's even more profound with Mike Salinas, I think, closing up shop. There's just not enough full-time cars.
Right. Well, hold on. Alexis DeJoria, she's not attending all the races. She would technically be in the top 10 because she's 8th right now.
Okay. Yeah, it's a situation where the economics of the sport are messed up.
Yeah.
And it is bigger than just payout.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's right now, it is payout, it's TV numbers, it is high profile marketing and exposure. It's so many things. It is so many things.
Yeah, it is. All those things have to be looked at. But again, that's why I said I'm glad that the NHRA is not control of TV time or the TV deal. I'm glad they let somebody else handle that. But at the same time, if we want to really make sure that we're hitting these live windows and can do more live events, we can't be lazy on, I know there was a lot of talk about IHRA and then being on time, but I mean, let's keep it a buck. NHRA ain't on time either. They weren't on time this weekend. They ain't on time pretty much every weekend. they get behind with no incidents.
Wasn't there like an hour intermission almost because they got through a section of cars and a group of cars early?
Yeah, I think
and they
so.
waited. Wasn't there something like that?
Yeah. I mean,
Now again, I'm speculating. I don't know because I was at a drag race doing the thing, but I heard that they got through like top alcohol funny car
because only
on
5
time, and because of that field, it put this gap in the program.
Yeah, you gotta. That's got to be tightened up, and you can't just turn it on and turn it off when you want. Like that needs to be something, because really, to be honest, nobody wants to be there 12 hours. People don't want to be there 12 hours when they already got to show up so they can have at least a nice parking spot and make sure they're not going to get caught in traffic and miss top fuel or, miss any of the pros. So it's like, you just got to do better. But, all this throwing shade over the fence, it was ridiculous to me and kind of laughable because there ain't a whole lot on time with NHRA either. There's a ton that could be done better. And, that's kind of throwing a little shade at something that just came back when you've been in the business we're almost on 75 years and, couldn't stay on time if your life depended on it. I think you just kind of need to keep your mouth shut and keep it moving.
Another element to the IHRA, I think people are failing to realize, yes, there was downtime, but something they didn't do, they did not jerk the schedule around. They brought cars back up after downtime to where it ended. Whereas in the NHRA, we would have seen, all right, super stock, super gas, go back to the pits.
Right.
And then come in top field. Now, look, I get there's TV windows and things of that nature. I understand that. I do.
But that's how you stay on time when you cut people. I can stay on time by cutting folks.
Right. But the IHRA, they didn't do it that way. I've seen those schedule changes. I've been in the midst of the staging lanes when those changes happen. It's a dangerous place to see cars going out of the staging lanes the way they're not supposed to go, and cars still trying to come in. Las Vegas one year, that was surprised there was not a demolition derby effect in the staging lanes. It was amazing. It looked like something in a foreign country. We're at an intersection where everybody makes it through, but doesn't seem like there's any logical reason to the traffic pattern. So there are some deep business decisions that were made like 30 years ago that we are still feeling the ramifications of today. Yeah. And it's going to be a while until we are out of it. I mean, look, take Don Garlett's advice. I think there's a lot of truth to it.
Yes.
These things are too fast. They're burning too much fuel. They're killing too many parts. And when I say killing too many parts, I don't mean massive blowups. I mean, the parts attrition is serious and it's real, and especially to be competitive. And yet the fans and the racers alike are demanding quicker, faster, harder. And I don't know, man, look, that final round, like back at the IHRA between Mike and Dale, both 416 side by side, I was happy with that.
That was fun.
I don't look, congratulations to Brittany Force and the fastest drag racer in the world.
Queen of speed.
But I would rather see side-by-side 4.0s at 3:02 and it'd be a good race. It fascinates me how excited people get over digits on a board that very well could be lying to you. And I'm not saying they are, but I'm saying they very well could be.
Yeah.
I get more excited about side by side and good racing.
Yeah. That like I said, the whole IHRA event, it wasn't even about, like, it was like it was like watching a Sega event. Like, there ain't no times, nobody knows any times, no speeds. It's just who gets to the finish line first. And that's really all I was paying attention to, really. I wasn't even worried about all the rest of it, but it was really cool to see as many side-by-side races that we had, whether it was in Top Fuel, Funny Car, Top Alcohol Dragster and Funny Car. It was just fun stuff from top to bottom. Was just fun. I wasn't even paying attention to ETs and speeds, to be honest.
Right. There's some serious foundational work that's got to happen. And it is not just the NHRA. It is not just the IHRA. It is not just the sanctioning body. It's everybody.
Everybody.
Like, look, every driver out there needs to be hustling and have a YouTube channel like Clay. Every driver out there needs to be hustling and have a good Instagram. Dugenais, I have more followers than some of the professional people in the sport.
Yeah, that's backwards.
It is. It really is.
Backwards.
And look, I know we're in that day and time that you can hustle and you can grow a following. You can. But what I'm getting at is I don't have a funny car. I don't have a Top Fuel car. I don't have a Pro Stock car. I don't ride Pro Stock motorcycle, all that cool stuff.
Yeah.
And look, having 100,000 followers doesn't guarantee you a major sponsor, but it certainly might ink a deal.
Yeah.
Or keep you from inking a deal.
Yeah. Aren't people paying attention to that now? I mean, people are worried about, it doesn't matter whether the content is even close to anything or what it pertains to you, but they'll bring people in because they have a following. Doesn't mean that's going to, I have yet to see any of that translate, by the way, because their niche is their niche. And it's great that they come out to different sporting events, but it's kind of like, me getting invited to F1. I don't really watch it, but yeah, it'd be cool. And I'd probably go back to, that doesn't mean it's going to be covered on my channel. I have my niche, and I think others do too. So, it definitely would ink a deal because people pay attention to it, but it's not always necessary to end all be all. Doesn't mean it's going to help you at all.
Right. And look, again, let's go back to this. It's not always the NHRA's fault. Sometimes it's the racers and the competitors. We don't have throttle wax anymore because, look, I get it. We don't have to have them anymore, but you can still do it.
No, it hurts the clutch. It hurts the whole entire setup when you do that.
Wilkerson and them can do it, and a few other teams still go out there and do it, and they run okay. What if we all grouped together and said, you know what? For the sake of the fans and for the sake of the show and everybody having a good time out here, everybody is going to whack the throttle. And because that's an experience that you're not getting in any other motorsport,
no.
Period.
Yeah.
And yet here you have tuners and competitors in their competitiveness being so concerned with that, they removed an element of the show and removed a special part of the show of drag racing.
Yeah, I feel sorry for people now. I remember those.
I get we don't have to do dry hops anymore. But let me tell you something. When people do dry hops, like Southeast Gassers or Jordan Ballou with Funny Car Chaos and it does a dry hop, man, people get excited.
Yeah.
I don't know why. I do. I like dry hops. I'm just saying. Sometimes it's not all the NHRA. Sometimes you, the competitor, you're stinking the show up.
Yeah.
Stop it.
Put the show back in the show. Showmanship.
And look, again, there's some of you out there, you have won a national event. They're not going to remember you, but they're going to remember Scott Palmer.
Yeah, that's true. That is true.
You have won a Wally. It will collect dust after you're gone, and your name will go by the wayside. But the people's champ will be remembered.
Yeah. The showman. Yeah, it's wild, but that would help. Just putting the show back in the show would definitely help. What did he say? Oh yeah, that was good, wasn't it, AJ?
I don't even remember. What y'all talking about? I don't even remember.
I forget what the context
was. The NHRA one here recent?
I think it was that one.
Yeah, by the way, public service announcement. The 8th mile is not 1,000 feet.
We should know that by now, by the way.
Okay, it's not.
We should know that by now.
Count the blocks.
That was hilarious, by the way. That was hilarious. I got a question for you, though. So we're watching this thing with Sean, and to me,
Sean, as in Sean Reed.
Sean Reed.
Okay.
To me,
Sean number 9 Reed.
Yes, that looked like a tire separation. That wasn't something that dropped off of the car and grenaded that tire. It looked like the tire separated and then it was gone. Like it just, you saw it open up and obviously it's going to be gone in an instant. But that's what it looked like to me. And it looked like it was the sidewall to me. This has happened several times. It hasn't been as frequent, but this has happened several times and it looks similar.
So chunking the sidewall is a reality. I've seen it myself after runs, and obviously, those tires are junk. They're done. And it's harrowing to see that a slick comes back on a top fuel dragster and there's this chunk out of the sidewall and you see down to the last barrier, whatever that is, to the innards of the tire. So yeah, that happens. And I don't know exactly what happened with Sean. I know we got the footage, and man, my human eyeball and its slow processing time. I don't know if I want to make that call, and maybe they can review it even slower and get a better idea. Either way, if it is a tire failure or we have a parts containment failure that therefore caused that tire to rupture, we have a problem on our hands. And I think they're both worth investigating.
Mm-hmm. Do you think they will take the time to investigate it, though?
Oh, I'm sure they will. The NHRA, from everything I understand, does a fairly decent job of investigating, especially something as high profile as this. My concern is are they actually investigating the issues that are low profile right now that may very well turn into a high profile situation, such as tethers on funny car bodies and the way in which they're routing the parachute cables. How many cars have we seen since John Force's accident, even John's himself, parachutes do not deploy, even in the event of an engine explosion, and people are striking walls or going into the sand?
Well, think of Buddy. I mean, how many times has this happened in the last couple of weeks where he's going into the sand, no parachutes at all? And that's a team that cannot afford to keep wrecking bodies.
Look, Buddy, I think of Tim Wilkerson on the way back pro superstar shootout. I think of Daniel Wilkerson. I think, Daniel had an explosion back at Indy. That was a big explosion about half track. No chutes popped out. You've got John's issue. I thought we had all these safety systems that when there's a blow up, the chutes are supposed to pop. What's going on?
Yeah, that doesn't make it. It's wild to me. Because it's like
I see there's a problem. Like I've even thought there needs to be a compilation, get every one of them together and no shoots. And nobody's saying anything. Funny car drivers know about it. And they're going out there and they're doing their thing and they're like, oh boy, but nonetheless, we're not talking about it. We're talking about mud flap, but we're not talking about no shoots when funny cars blow up. And drivers can't drive and tethers. I don't know. To me, that's the real story.
Lonnie and Mac 1320. Yes. Yeah. It came out after he hits the sand and everybody's kind of looking around and then it just goes. Poof. it's kind of like the airbag coming out after you done smashed your chin against the steering wheel. Like,
I was watching Colton today weld up the titanium framework for Buddy's funny car to replace, and talking about how it's routed. And he's like, this makes no sense. What we had before, the rule actually met the rules requirements, but yet now they want us to do this because it's what they want.
And it's not working.
I don't think it is. I don't know. Maybe look, I'm not saying I know everything, but
I think you've had enough.
I do talk to enough people with funny cars that they don't like it. They don't like the tethers. They work something else out. Look, I will say this. I know we don't want bodies going into the stands. But here's another issue. Even with Sean Reed's incident, can we stop parking people beyond the 8th mile where these cars are at such a high rate of speed and the energy, like, I don't know everything about physics, but like energy keeps moving in a particular direction. And people get struck downwind, if you will, of the energy of these cars. That's when it happens. Whether it's Leah's incident and the trailer being hit, the TV trailer being hit with shrapnel, and also the piece that landed in the grandstand, and that video being wiped and nobody knows where that is. I would love to find it. There was video, but it is gone now. That nose piece landed in stands. People had to duck and dodge Leah's front end. Then you've got the incident, Antron Brown years ago, the tire goes out. What if nobody was parked beyond that? This incident struck. Look, glad she's okay. Nonetheless, why are we parking motorhomes in the range of fire of energy of the cars? I'll say, let's go back. Robert Heights, St. Louis, almost took out the TV guy and lands in the motorhome parking lot. Around the campfire, Robert Heights' body. The problem was not that the bodies are going in the stands. It's going into places that, they're going to go in because they're in the way.
Yeah.
But now we're going to put tethers on the bodies, and now they blow up, and drivers can't see nothing, drivers can't drive, and then you have people hitting walls and ending careers.
Yeah.
How about we don't park people beyond like the quarter mile?
Yeah.
Can we fix that?
Smart.
Maybe?
Yeah.
Maybe that's safer for everybody.
Because it seems like that's where all that stuff happens. That's really where the worst of it happens, is down track like that. Usually when you get those type of things, they're usually about half track, and they're usually going to send that energy beyond that. You're not going to see it at the initial, strike zone or where the incident happens. It always is, a scatter field basically of parts and pieces and things like that. So yeah, I always thought being on that far down track was risky. I'd rather stand by the wall at half track than be down 13-20 down that far.
Right.
Because usually nothing good happens down that far.
Bingo. Look, let me put it this way. Drag strips are outdated in more ways than one.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Because these cars are going so much faster now than, 1989. You know what I mean? Like, can you imagine at 341 miles an hour, you go through the lights and something happens? Where do you think all that stuff's going? That's a whole lot of shrapnel flying at that rate of speed, and under. It's still going at about 300 and change. You know what I mean?
And look, let me tell you something. You think you're going to move? I don't like filming at the wall, but sometimes media, you got to do what you got to do. And I'll film at the wall, and I'll be about 330. I don't really like going beyond 330.
Yeah.
No matter what.
Right.
Man, a car turns. This past weekend, I had a camera go down, and I'm the guy, the most able-bodied guy to go run, and it's also my stream last weekend at Nitro Chaos. So, man, I jocked. And by the way, I jogged the full 8th mile, 660 feet at a jog, not a sprint.
No way.
Okay, I got to admit, it was not a sprint, but I jogged the entire distance and did not stop. I'm rather proud of myself because I am out of shape. I'm telling you. Okay, I got there and I huffed and puffed a little bit, but I did my job. By the time, so one thing when I'm doing that, I'm listening, and burnout's fine, but like launches, I want to pause. I want to kind of look back, like what's coming at me. Okay.
Right.
Well, I get there to the camera. Burnouts are done for John Umlauf and Dave Hill. I'm doing my thing. I'm plugging in, changing battery. Oh, it's recording. And I look back, and like the last stage light was coming on. And I'm like, ooh. And all the ambers fire, and they fire off the line. Well, I start heading away from the wall. You know what? I'm glad I did. I'm glad I had that kind of precaution to get away from the 8th mile mark on the wall, because Dave Hill came in hot, all sideways and crossed up, trying to get that round win against John Umlauf. You think you got more time? You do not.
You don't. Yeah. I know. I've always had my head on a swivel when I have to film down track, especially at a Sega event. You just never know. Got to be ready. At all times. It happens so fast too, man. Like, you think you got more time, but you don't.
Yeah, like you've experienced it now. You stand next to the wall of even like a Sega car. It's a lot quicker and faster than you think.
Yeah, it comes on you real quick, man.
Right.
You think you got it, and you're like, you think you got it, but it's just like that. It's harder than it looks. It's like a lot of us, have had our moments where we complain about the camera and this and that, but once you do it, you realize
swinging a camera is not as easy as
you thought.
Yes. Yes. Yeah, I would challenge anybody, especially when it's hot.
Oh yeah.
When it is a hot day and you can't get out of the sun,
shady
like
side
you're bringing your own shade and you're wearing the big, straw hat and cover it up. Well, it's a harder job than people realize. Now, look, you're having fun, you're having a blast, you're watching a race, but it's also different quality. You're not watching the race as a fan.
Right.
At the end of filming a race, I'm like, what happened? Who won?
Right.
You do not receive it in the same bandwidth as you do when you're just watching as a fan.
Yeah. So would you stand next to the wall on the apron of the highway? Hell nah. You're right about that.
Yeah. So
no way.
I don't know. Let's fix funny car bodies. How about that? Let's do that. Let's do that.
Would be nice.
Let's do that. Now, did Sean have the air deflectors on or not? I don't remember from the footage. He didn't have them on, right?
No, he did not have them on.
Right. Okay. I wonder what the thoughts are on that.
Yeah, that was one of my first thoughts, because I'm like, they removed them because they thought it might help, and obviously it's everybody has their own choice on whether they want to do it or not, but it happened, with them off. So what does that mean?
Right.
It's such a rarity though. Like, it's
what? It's rare of what. I'm surprised it doesn't happen more often when tires let go, because from what I remember looking at the footage, the tire lets go and it destroys a part of the wing, and then
that's when it was done.
He gets sideways, and because you've lost a lot of stabilizing force.
Mm-hmm.
So
he likely controls it if the wing doesn't go. It seems like every time the wing goes, it gets worse.
We've seen it drops down. You kind of, also where he was at, like he wasn't going for the shoots. This was at a different stage really than when it typically happens.
Mm-hmm.
And now I think we also got to look at, like, okay, I'm glad Sean's not injured other than losing a finger. But like, why did he lose a finger? What was the deal with that? Like, why? Did he like tuck under the steering wheel or something, or like was it how he was gripping it? Do we need to really consider the steering wheel technology, which in drag racing really hasn't changed since 1900? No, I'm being drastic here, but it hasn't changed in a very, very, very long time. So yes.
Well, if you watch it slow mo, he was still driving the car. You can see him turning the wheel. You can see him turning the wheel. He had no idea what was going on behind him. Right. And I think by the time when you speed it up, it happens so fast that he has no time to go, okay, and maybe put his arms up and get his hands out of the way. He was literally still driving, and it just went gone.
Right. Yeah.
In a snap of a finger.
He definitely didn't do Jesus take the wheel. No, he held on to that thing.
Yeah, he was driving it still. That's how, because you can see in slow mo, it looks like it's longer than it actually is. But when you play it in real time,
so he was running. He was running the air deflectors. I just went and found the video. Yeah, he was running the air deflectors. Canards or mud flaps.
Whatever you want to call it. They're not mud flaps. There's no mud. There would be in the back. Don't get the mud flap people on you.
Oh, I know. Even though the first time I ever heard them referenced as a part on the car in a Top Fuel pit, they're like, go get the mud flap. And I'm like, the what? Oh, that thing. Like, we call that mud flaps? Oh, yeah, we call that all the time. I'm like, oh, seems strange to me, but okay, if that's the nomenclature.
Right. Yeah.
Well, this weekend, ladies and gentlemen, there is IHRA drag racing at Milan Dragway, now Durana Dragway. Okay. So, National Trail is now Durana Raceway. Milan Dragway is now Durana Dragway. Do not go in that comment section and talk to me about naming rights. We're not dealing with that tonight. Just call it whatever you want to at this point. Okay. The track up in Michigan. I don't care.
Right.
But we got IHRA drag racing this weekend. And as Dave W. already alluded to, yes, Funny Car Chaos up at Byron, making a debut up there. It's not taking place this weekend. It's going to be postponed to, I believe it's August 15th and 16th. Same weekend as the World Fuel Altered Nationals, which now puts me in a dilemma. But go Funny Car Chaos. And then, there's a threat of weather, it seems like everywhere except for Sonoma.
Yeah. Yep. Weather's been kicking racing's butt from the midpoint of the country east.
So bad.
Yeah.
I have heard horror stories of tracks canceling 8 weekends in a row. I've heard tracks canceling 14 weekends overall. And when you consider racing weekends out of the weekends of the year, that is a chunk. I think of David Sharp, who we've had even on this very show, operating Rocket City Dragway. Well, okay, so for one, like they have a bullseye on that piece of property, and they get hit by tornadoes routinely that hit Huntsville. But this year it was flooding. They were fully underwater at one point. The drag strip was, and I'm like, how did that track like it doesn't run by a river or anything? Like, how did it flood?
Yeah, it's wild.
Wow,
it's wild,
absolutely wild.
Where we're seeing flooding everywhere in certain areas, it's just you're like, oh, how does that happen? You know, it's. But I remember, what was it? Well, the year that we had Idalia, we had a flooding rain. We got 13 inches of rain in like 4 hours. I've never seen sewer overflow to where there was nowhere for it to go because there was so much water. And then we thought we couldn't do it again. And after Idalia, before Helene, I think we had 2, but the second one was a lot worse. than the first one. Flooded out the front half of a neighborhood. People had like 2 feet of water. They were being rescued out of the front half of a neighborhood. It was wild. And now you're seeing, like, I mean, we're talking more than 2 feet of water, maybe 5+ feet of water, sometimes putting homes under, you know, with just the roofs hanging out. It's just wild what we're seeing across the world with weather.
Well, folks, we got word that Chris, he is traveling, and he was just in a bad patch of service, and we're not going to be able to get him tonight. Maybe we'll get him another time. Certainly want to have a chat with him. Anyone from Pro Stock Motorcycle, the whole 8 that are out there right now. Yeah. Man, just, you know, it wasn't that long ago we were talking about that class having 20-something plus. Yeah. And it has dwindled down. Andrew, let's see what Andrew's asking. Thoughts on the Thunder Valley closing situation? Lee, I've seen you comment on it. Crazy stuff. Well, I think there was a lot of legitimate stuff said by that lease owner. Granted, there's always more to the story. Mm-hmm. We're talking about somebody that, talking to someone such as the owner at Mocan, who's been in this thing for almost all of his life, or one way or the other, and like 30 years of track operating. The guy picked up a lease and was only really in business for like less than 6 months, and yet he knows exactly what should be done and he should do, and he's never operated a track before. So
here's your side.
This one is a tough one because you don't want to hear. Look, let me put it this way: the track is closed for operation. It is not gone. There is a distinction there. This individual is not going to continue the lease. So the landowners can, you know, lease it out again. The landowners could do something else with the track and operate it themselves. But you've got to remember, ladies and gentlemen, sometimes these tracks are in weird situations. Mm-hmm. And it's not always, you got to be careful about terms, you know, track owner. Well, they actually might not be the owner. They're actually the operator, and it's a lease situation. Some places have a municipal connection as a raceway and a facility, but this is, from what I can tell, someone that, though might have been an astute businessman, might not have had much racer sense and wanted to do grand things while not really making sure the foundational elements of a racetrack were maintained. Lost support, therefore could not maintain the price of the lease.
Yeah.
Now, if the lease is that much, of like $30,000 a month, wow.
Yeah.
Look, people, I don't think fans realize, the average fan, the general fan, that most people aren't making a ton of money in racing.
No.
They're doing it because they're passionate about it. And it can be very frustrating when you have to deal with every little whiny comment. And the ones that whine and complain seem to get far more reach.
Yeah. It's sad, but true.
Yes. So I think with Thunder Valley, from what I can gather, it's a bit more in the middle. Okay? Because I was supposed to be there and announcing a race, a promotion, in 3 weeks. Well, they're closing up shop. So that gig closed because they moved to a track that they're good with the announcing and everything. So it's like, the ramifications can be far and wide, but
Mhm.
you know, the more I get, hope he is successful elsewhere, but it might have been an issue of, well, we are a racetrack. Let's first and foremost handle and take care of the racing product.
Right.
Now, I'm a huge advocate of tracks doing more than just racing. Granted, you run into situations where, again, you might have an operator that's willing and a lease owner who is not. Recently talking to a track operator, I was like, hey, you know, you've got pits. What about operating with your local SCCA for autocross or something of that nature? Well, we would love to. Matter of fact, we did that one time. We got in some trouble, though, because the landowner only wants drag racing to happen here and nothing else. And I find that strange, but hey, when you own the property,
You can do what you want.
you can do what you want.
But I mean, South Georgia Motorsports Park was, before Raul got it, was in trouble.
Sure.
Yeah. I mean,
Sure.
it sat dormant for a while because of tax issues.
Sure.
So,
And they're doing a great job. And
yeah,
the reason that they can now think of the extracurriculars, if you will. I'm not saying that right. I'm tired, folks. I'm very tired. It's been a long day, and I'm cranky. If you can't tell, I need my nap. Okay, I want to go outside. I want to set up my RV right underneath the Christmas tree here in Lafayette and plug in, turn the air on. I want to go to bed, and I need to. I'm very cranky. I get it. I feel it. Bear with me, but you have a situation down there that they have put the work in, made the racing product right, and since it is a racetrack and they're taking care of the racing and the racer, now they can think about other things.
Yep. It's been well done. I think it's probably been the greatest it's ever been in its existence right now.
Sure. I don't disagree.
Yep.
And I do wonder what's going to happen because a couple of days ago I saw the post where you all support us. Just get a national event at this track. And we have not heard any more information on the Peach State Showcase of Speed.
I know. And I've heard.
I wonder if the rumors are true.
Because I've heard a few people that inadvertently said they were going to be there that are not, said they are not going they are not going now.
Yes.
You know, I don't know whether they were just talking and it just slipped out or what, but there have been a few people we've talked to that have inadvertently said that, mentioned it, and they are not going now. So I don't know, man. This is going to be interesting. Haven't heard anything yet, but yeah, this is interesting, man. They ain't looking too good. That would suck. That would suck for them big time.
It would. And maybe they could still hold it and work it out with some other cars to come there that maybe aren't in the countdown or something of that nature. But again, this kind of goes back to that, like the racers are part of the problem too.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Can't grow the sport if you're not.
Yeah, you can't grow the sport when, you know, people go ask you for an interview and you're like,
yeah, I just want to go home.
You know, you can't grow the sport when you're like, did I really have to do this media obligation?
Yep. It's big part of everything, man. Everybody has to play their part. That's for sure.
Right. I mean, look, Kenny Bernstein didn't do what he did in the sport by despising, you know, media obligations. Matter of fact, he took his car in front of those of Anheuser-Busch and, you know, fired it up. Like he went there.
Yeah.
You know, to like seal the deal.
Yeah. It's huge. Huge.
I mean, John Force set himself on fire. And you want to argue about a media obligation?
Yeah. For real.
Soft.
With a W.
And that's just it. I need to go bed.
It's time for us to get out of here.
I think so too. I'm tired.
Me too.
I'm tired.
Good night, everybody.
Good night. Good night. Everybody take care. It's been a great show. Hey, we'll try to get Chris. Thank you for your time, Clay.
Yes.
Enjoy Sonoma. Enjoy Milan. Enjoy wherever you are this weekend. Hopefully it doesn't rain it out and delay it. Get to your local track. Everybody, God bless, and keep the pedal to the metal.
QuarterMileClassifieds.com is a new and easier alternative to online classified advertising. We make it a simple experience with $20 getting your car, hauler, engine, or parts listed for 2 weeks. If you want to make a bigger splash, we have VIP listings that provide even more exposure, including social media. On QuarterMileClassifieds.com, you get up to 10 photos of video and up to 2,000 characters to deliver the message you need to make the sale. QuarterMileClassifieds.com is the trusted classified ad partner of Competition Plus and the Rooftech Top Eliminator Bonus Fund. Visit QuarterMileClassifieds.com